Welcome to Aftersight, your home for stories for people just like you. Your vision loss journey isn't something to be ashamed of. Take a listen.
And that's the main thing I remember learning when I was taught the slack line when I still had vision, is don't look at the line below you, but look at your anchor point that's solid ahead of you.
If you want me to cook your dinner, you have to put stuff where it goes.
And I suppose part of this was also my own trying to figure out who I was and how to be in the world in this very new way.
I would say a potted plant, because I get sad when the flowers would wilt, eventually.
I'm going to say fresh cut flowers, because then I don't have to worry about killing a plant. I'm really bad at taking care of.
These people all have the same thing in common. You. Their stories are for your encouragement, your determination, and your inspiration. This is Aftersight.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Aftersight. I hope that your 2023 is off to a bang. I, of course, am your host, Penn Street. I come over your airwaves week after week. Today, I have had the honor of meeting and actually having a conversation with our guest, and so impressed with her and the lives that she has changed and continues to change. I've interviewed so many amazing human beings on this podcast, but today, introducing today's guest is a moment that I really, really thought that I could only happen in my dreams. So I want you all to sit down and get comfortable. I don't want you to multitask today when you are listening to this podcast, and you'll understand why. When we come back, we have the one and the only multi-Grammy winning Diane Schuur, who goes by Deeds, which I'm glad that she feels comfortable that I call her Deeds. You're just gonna have to bear with me, and this is just a tiny sampling of Deeds' bio, but she's an American jazz singer and pianist. She has released dozens of albums, which she's going to be talking with us about. She's also performed at venues such as Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center, and even the White House. And she's also performed with many, many artists, including some of my favorites, Ray Charles, Frank Sinatra, Quincy Jones, and Stevie Wonder, Stevie Guy. She's also co-performed on several albums, included with people like Barry Manilow, Jose Feliciano, my gosh, the list goes on, Maynard Ferguson, Stan Getz, Vince Gill, Alison Krauss, and again, B.B. King, which I was so fortunate to get to hear him in concert live before he passed away. She was also on the which I didn't know because you didn't talk about this yesterday. She was also on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson 11 different times. And I just found this out yesterday as well. She was even interviewed by Elmo on Sesame Street. So stay tuned. Do not go away. And we're going to be right back.
You're listening to Aftersight with Penn Street, an AINC original podcast. If you enjoy what you hear, please visit aincolorado.org for more shows, news, and articles read by our amazing staff and volunteers. If you have a question for Penn or would like to recommend a guest for future shows, please visit aincolorado.org/podcast-guest. And now, here's your host, Penn Street.
Deeds, welcome to Aftersight.
Oh, thank you, Penn. Appreciate that so much. And it's such a pleasure to be here with you and having a little girlfriend chat.
That's right. I do so appreciate that you said that. I try not to be grill my guests, but I definitely won't. But the first thing, Deeds, that we usually start off the show with just some off the wall questions so that the audience can get to know you a little bit differently than before we dive in. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. And I've never asked this question before. So you're the first.
Okay.
If you could have your sight back for one day, what would you do?
Oh, I think one of the things I would do is look into my cat Puss's eyes, her
Oh,
beautiful blue-green eyes, and that would be a thrill of a lifetime.
oh,
I would, if I were in Washington D.C., I'd love to be able to go and see the president and shake his hand, or
oh,
just it's just so incredible. Oh yes, and of course, I would love to get together with my twin brother David. I call him
mm,
Pilot, and he calls me co-pilot. And I'd love to
oh,
be able to land the airplane, and
oh,
yeah, which I've done before anyway. So,
wow,
yeah, I wouldn't
wow.
even consider skydiving.
Ooh,
And actually see what the Earth looks like as it's coming up.
mm, mm,
And just yeah, just love to be able to look around and see what my backyard looks like, or
yeah,
just uh be able to see the faces of my loved ones, and be able to
yeah.
see the pictures of my mama who's deceased, and see the beautiful picture, the portrait of Puss, which was just created recently on the wall with the other cats.
Oh,
And
I love that the first thing you said was to look into Puss eyes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I definitely want you to dive more into that, because I loved hearing what you said yesterday of how important cats are in the world, that dogs get all the credit, but cats. So I have
hmm
another question,
sure.
is what would your career have been if you weren't a singer, if it hadn't gone in that direction?
If I weren't a singer,
Yeah.
um, I probably would have still been a piano player, most likely.
Mm, mm,
I'm not sure if I would have gone as far as I have with the combination of both.
yeah.
hmm
That's great. That's great. And
hmm
then I always, I don't know if Jonathan told you this, but I always ask my guests, if you had a theme song, what would it be? So when you walk into a room, that's the song that would be playing.
I think the song that I would love to hear is the theme, not the actual coming on air theme, but one of the themes to Lost in Space.
Oh, that's
Because
great.
it starts
Mm,
that's how it starts, and of course it's very
yeah.
wistful and very sad. But I've always loved that theme, and
Oh, that is beautiful. I was really excited to hear where you were going to go with that, because somebody of your caliber, like, I mean, that you have the world, right?
I
So,
guess
that's Lost in Space. I love that. I love that. Well,
yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Deej,
Yeah.
I know that you were born with your vision loss due to
Yes.
retinopathy of prematurity, which basically means that you received too much oxygen as a newborn,
That's
and
yes.
yeah, and like I think yesterday you mentioned Stevie Wonder, that was also the cause of his vision loss, and I have so many friends um, that is how they lost their vision. Do you remember as a child, and I'm guessing it's a child, when you actually realized that your vision was different than others around you? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, let's see. Um, I remember when I was 2, being in the hospital. It's a little bit vague, but this is still when I had a lot of refraction in my left eye,
Mm.
light refraction, and I could actually see. There was a big fluorescent light right above me, and because I had double pneumonia, and
Oh,
then later on, I think I probably, when I went to the state school for the blind, is when I realized that I was definitely different somehow from other sighted people.
like, well, do you remember what it was like when it sort of dawned on you that your vision was different?
Oh, I think the mere fact that I had to go to a school, which wasn't public school, I think that kind of dawned on me even then when I was 4.5.
Oh, because your brother couldn't go to that school, right?
No, he went to regular public school.
Yeah.
Although he has a hearing deficit for some reason. And so so it's just really interesting that, my brother and sister stayed home and I went to school.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the foremost differences that I could discern even back then.
That you could remember. Okay,
Yeah.
so Deeds, I got to hear your beautiful kitty cat yesterday over the phone, and during our conversation that we had, you mentioned yesterday, we talked about guide dogs a little bit. I have a guide dog, Beethoven, and but you shared that cats really do help blind people, and that's not talked about enough.
No.
And can you share a little bit about that and what the role that Puss Puss plays in your life? And
sure, I'd be more than glad to elaborate, Pan.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me calling you that. It's just
I have been telling everybody that Deets has a nickname for me. It's Pen Pen. So no, you go ahead and call me Pen Pen all you want.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. With regarding cats, Puss Puss is very intuitive. Now, a lot of people know that cats are very intuitive, but she is to an extraordinary point, because one of the things, she acts differently even before an earthquake happens. Like, unlike most cats, they'll run away under the bed and whatever for their own self survival. We had a very minor earthquake 2 days ago, but you know what? Puss Puss was on the bed. She didn't move. She didn't get up or anything. She just, and then I started to lose my hearing 6 years ago. I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease. And that is, you know what Meniere's is, right, Pan?
I do, because I was also diagnosed probably mine was a little bit longer than that, about 8 or 9 years ago. But
yeah, well, the deal is that I think Puss Puss knew before I did there was something wrong. Because she started with in my left ear. I mean, I can still hear okay. It's just some of the vowels are the consonants are missing. Let's see, what is it? F, K, S, T, and TH are the ones I think that they're consonants. They're the ones. Yes, I cannot hear them with my left ear. Wow. They're gone. And so what I'll do sometimes is I will, just to see, I'll plug my right ear and then see, with watching a television show or whatever, if I can hear from my left, and it's nothing but mumbles. I cannot discern a lot of words unless they speak really clearly and slowly. Now, booking agents and such, don't you get the wrong idea about the D's. I'll tell you right now. So
that's right.
Yeah, but Puss Puss started, and she's asleep on my left right now. She's, her tail is wrapped around her and she's sound asleep. So you probably won't hear a meow, but she started coming up on my left-hand side, the side that, doesn't have as much hearing. And every time she does, and, and every time, and it's amazing. It's like she knows that, cats are really a trip. In fact, there's a wonderful book by David Dosa, MD, about Oscar. It's called, Making Rounds with Oscar, an extraordinary gift of an ordinary cat, who visits these residents at this, this old folks home. Well, it's actually a home for people with dementia. And he visits them while they're dying. And he knows intuitively who it is, and it's amazing. He just sits it out with them, or just lays with them as they're, exiting this world. Let's just say it's a really good book.
I've actually heard about that on the news, different stories about cats living in, senior living facilities, and the cats know that, they kind of watch over the person until they pass on.
Yeah,
and
they
so
do.
so it makes sense that Puss would know, like, be intuitive, that you can't hear on the left side, and she kind of like, hey, I'm here, and doesn't want to startle you because you can't
Right. Well,
hear
I can hear on the left side, but it's just not. For instance, on my right side, I have a quartz watch. I used to have watches that wound up. You know what I mean? I mean that
I remember.
that dates me a lot, but still, because I'm 69 now, I'll be 70 in December. But now I've got the quartz watch, and they tick very softly. If you put it to your ear. And I noticed I can do that still with my right ear, but I can't hear it with my left. And
wow.
yeah, so, but Puss, she's, they're like dogs in the fact that they know if you're very sad or upset. She'll just get on my chest and plop down and purr and lick 'em hand, and just is so sweet. And she usually hangs out a lot of the time in the guest room, which is right across the hall from my bedroom. We call it the Puss room. In fact, we have a security camera that says motion detected at your Puss. And
that's awesome. That is so awesome. So does she, like, I know with Beethoven, if somebody comes to the door, even before they ring the doorbell or even knock, he knows they're there, and he alerts me that they're out there. And does Puss, does she notice what's going on outside the house as well?
Yeah, she was on the bed, and then as soon as the doorbell rang, then she jumped off because she knew it was somebody at the door. So,
cute.
Yeah, it's just really cool. I just love her so much, and she's 15 now. She's a beautiful blue point Persian,
and you saved her. You saved her.
I did. She was dropped off at animal control, and they give with her 7 kittens, and they give it a certain amount of time, and then they go ahead and euthanize them all if they're not adopted. So luckily, a place in the desert called Animal Samaritans rescued them, and a year later after that, then I rescued Puss. So there it is, and she's just such a sweetie. I just love her so much, and she's so funny. She'll lead me into the kitchen when she wants her wet food. I don't lead her. She leads me, with her big tail in the air. First of all, I'll get out of bed because, as I'm older, I have to go to the bathroom a little bit more often.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. So,
yeah, I do.
First we visit the ladies' room, right? And I do my thing, and then I'll go out into the kitchen, and I follow her out into the kitchen and get her wet food. And sometimes I'm just barely conscious when I do it. It's become so habitual. So, yeah, it's just such a sweet tool.
Well, I'm so glad that the two of you found each other. Deed, so you shared that you have a photographic memory as well as you also possess absolute pitch memory and vocal tone. How was that discovered? I mean, you obviously didn't come out of the womb and everybody was like, "Oh, wow, she's pitch." How old were you when you discovered that? And
about 2 or 3. There is this cousin of mine. His name was Brian Calkins, and he would say, "Oh, this is the key of G." And I'd say, "No, it's not. It's the key of it's the key of E flat. It's not
Ooh.
G. And I couldn't be fooled no matter how people tried. I've just always had
Wow.
that ability, you see. So
Wow.
I know.
Wow. And so, have you heard of Mandy Harvey?
No.
She's a friend of mine. She was on America's Got Talent, and she's done some different things. But she's completely deaf, and she's pitch perfect. And it was amazing to me how somebody and she did have hearing when she was younger, and so. But I was wondering, because there's not a lot of performers that are actually pitch perfect.
Wow. Well, so Mandy Harvey she's the singer, I presume?
Yes, she's a jazz singer, and you'll have to look her up. But when I heard you also mentioned that, I was like, that's pretty rare for me to know two people. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, one who's blind and one who's deaf. I mean, go figure.
Yeah, you guys should do something together. That would be cool.
Well, you never know what happens in this life.
That's right. That's right.
Well, yeah, you share this interview with Mandy Harvey.
Oh, I absolutely will. I
help
absolutely
her to be aware of the deeds. Yeah,
I will. And your photographic memory, that I know other people that I've met that are blind, especially if they've been blind since birth. But even if you haven't, if you are blind and visually impaired, your memory is super important. But has there been any downside to having photographic memory? Are there things
I can tell you that the only downside is if I'm breaking up with a boyfriend or something like that, and you did this on this date, and you said this on this certain date, and that was a little bit of a drag,
well, not for you, but for them, I'm sure.
For them, yeah, I feel like I'm in court or something like that, or I'm being prosecuted or something like that. And I realize now at the time that it was probably not a cool thing to do, but oh well.
I don't know. When you're breaking up with somebody, I think you pull out whatever's working at the time.
Well, that's true. Sometimes things aren't, they work until they don't. And so, but I'm very, very happy living at the desert deedle pad with Puss Puss for her as company and with myself as company. And I'm okay. In fact, today, I know it's going to be broadcast later, but today is the 13th of January, and I would have been married to my husband 27 years. Today, is one of our anniversaries. We got divorced because of I couldn't be a caregiver anymore. He had Parkinson's and suffered from Lewy body dementia. And so, we had a lot of happy years. He toured all over the world with me. And one of the reasons we did is because back in the days before cell phones, I was in Japan calling my Rocket Man.
Yeah.
And the next phone bill that I got was like $4,000.
Oh my goodness.
And so my brother-in-law, who's now deceased, and my sister said, "Hey, why don't you just travel with her? It might be a little less expensive." So that's exactly what happened,
And more fun, right? More fun having him there. Well, did you have a new album? It's called Running on Faith. Can you and then also you're touring in February. Where did that name come from? I love that, Running on Faith. I just love that title.
Well, it's actually a cover for Eric Clapton. I did a cover for his version of Running on Faith.
Oh,
he has a version of it, and it's from an album called Journeyman. And and that's one of the tracks on there. And I like that track so much, I thought I'd go ahead and use it not only as a song to sing, but as the title track.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we did. And actually the album came out on May 8th of 2020. So, and the reason that it was, you know, so long and, you know, and all of this is that COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I'd finished the album. My last session was on January 31st of 2020. That was the last session at the studio. And then it came out on May 8th of 2020.
Wow.
So,
yeah. COVID changed a lot of things, postponed a lot of things. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
I know, but see, look what it did though. It kind of, Pen, there was a quantum leap as far as the technology. What you and I are doing right now, it isn't just on landlines. This is, this is so
huge.
much more advanced and
so huge.
And I know, and I've gone to several meetings on Zoom, and I thank God for that. That I was able to go to the meeting since I couldn't go face to face and everything. So it's just been an amazing experience. But getting back to Puss, she knew that I was in a lot of isolation, and she just spent a lot of time. And I don't get out as much because it's still alive and well.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, so I just want to be a little bit careful. It doesn't mean that I don't like to get out. It's just,
So are you, I know I have friends that were very isolated during COVID, more so than they were before COVID. And they are having a hard time getting back out. And I even know with me, like if I'm in a restaurant that's really loud and noisy or an auditorium or something, I'm more nervous than I was before COVID. And I think it's my brain, my nervous system or whatever, just got out of, I'm not used to being around that anymore. So are you nervous about going back out on tour because it's been so long?
Actually,
just noise and craziness.
Right. It's a little bit of an adjustment, but I started going back out in August of 21, and then in 22, there was a lot of, they're called makeup dates that were postponed because of COVID, that I needed to go out there and work, because a lot of the time an artist will get paid in advance, and then if something happens, then they've got to make up the date.
That's right. I didn't even think about that, but that's throughout the industry. I'm sure that's happened.
Oh, it is. I mean, the entertainment industry suffered terribly, and we're still coming back, Pen, and I'm not so sure we're going to be able to come back fully because of this technology that's taken place,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it's, whatever. I'm okay regardless. I'm not worried about the work. I've got some gigs coming up and everything. So I have nothing to be worried about. I mean, to me, worry is just kind of like counterproductive. And it's there's certain things I know I don't have control over. And so
that's right.
So
Go with the flow.
Good. Yeah.
Well, Deeds, you have received so many awards in your lifetime. And I'm sure you probably in your house, if you display them, it's probably like wallpaper. But
it's a lot. Yeah.
Helen Keller is my hero and has been, ever since I lost my vision. But I was aware of Helen before I lost my vision. But then when I lost my vision, they thought that I was also going to be profoundly deaf. She became even a bigger hero to me. But I noticed that in, I think it was 2000, when you were awarded the Helen Keller Achievement Award by the American Foundation of the Blind, I was awestruck. How did that feel? I mean, to me, that award is from your peers, right? It's from the blind community and what
Yes.
you've done for us. What was that like for you?
It was remarkable. I have the plaque, and actually the plaque's in Braille.
Oh, of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah, it's so cool. And the one and only time I was in Time magazine, believe it or not, I was interviewed, and that was really cool, And I've been interviewed a lot, but when you get to Time magazine, that's pretty cool stuff.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big deeds.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Oh.
So, yeah, and the Grammy Awards, of course, that was very special.
Yeah.
The 2 Grammys that I got in 86 and 87, for the one in 87 was for Best Female Jazz Vocalist.
Yeah.
With the Count Basie Orchestra. Actually, I'll be performing with the Count Basie Orchestra in Boston, May 20th.
That's right. I saw that on your schedule. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to that a lot. So, yeah. So, what? Yeah, go ahead.
I love that the 99.9% of the awards you win, it's not because you're blind. It's because you are the best. You're the best. And it's not, it's not you're the best blind person. You're the best blind woman. It's because
I guess I'm best and blessed. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just didn't let what I like to call my inconvenience get in my way of the things that I wanted to accomplish. I just didn't. I refused to let that happen, regardless of where I was, and it wasn't always easy because I was struggling with alcoholism but I have been sober for 33 years and counting, and so that's almost half my life.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing? I too. I've shared this on the podcast that I'm. Mine was 1987 when I was my last drink and drug, and
yes,
and I have been talking to a lot of people who are blind and visually impaired, and it really seems that it's sort of rampant in our community, addiction, and I personally know why, but what was your shift? Do you mind sharing your shift?
Oh no, I don't mind at all. I don't mind a bit. Well, as I told you, Pen, when we recently talked.
Yeah.
I tried 2 suicide attempts before I stopped tipping and tripping. And the last one I tried, I was going to jump out my living room window. I was on the 3rd floor, and I was going to jump. And Donald David, remember I was telling you about Donald David?
Yeah.
He stood in the way of that. He didn't grab for me, but he just stood there. Just stood there, and that stopped me. And I just, all of a sudden, I just broke down, and I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, and I fell into his arms. And I remember on PBS in the background that was playing was the Hank Williams Jr. story.
Yes.
And I remember that so vividly. And then I went ahead and spent the next couple of days detoxing by myself in my condo.
Oh, Lord. I cannot imagine.
And not only that, but I would if you saw My Name is Bill W., he would smoke cigarettes. I'd quit in 87. I quit smoking before I quit drinking, but he would go from just sitting there like in a catatonic kind of state. And then, and I did that too. I was catatonic. I couldn't move.
Oh, sweetie.
I couldn't respond to anything. And I remember that so well. And there's a guy who's no longer living who got sober about a year after I did, about a year before I did. He's the one that actually 12-stepped me. And he said, Deedly Weedly, do you think you might be an alcoholic? And of course I go, I don't know. And then when I took a look at that, it's like, yeah, that, I was interested in Days of Wine and Roses and Come Back Little Sheba and all of these things. And now I kind of like understand why, because these people were having kind of like the same experience as I was.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
being a blackout drunk and all of that, kind of stuff. And yeah, it's
well, the business. I mean, the music business.
Oh, I know. When I was on American
hard.
Bandstand with Jose Feliciano, I had a soft boot on my left leg because I'd broken an ankle on the 1st of January of '86.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so, and of course I was taken to Harborview Hospital in Bellevue, Washington, and that night and all of that. And I on the Grammy show that I was telling you about with all those people, with Sarah Vaughan and Joe Williams and Bobby McFerrin and Buddy Rich and Gary Burton and all of these folks. I was standing on a soft cast, and so so it's been quite an experience. And ever since that shift happened, I mean, no matter what, divorce, marriage, divorce, everything, broken relationships, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I have consciously decided not to pick up a drink or drug.
Yeah.
No matter what. I'm a proud member of the no matter what club.
I love it. I love. Well, and I think Post appreciates that, but definitely all your sober friends appreciate that as well, because you're not the same person. I'm not the same person when I'm using.
Well, we're responsible, but at the same time, we have a lot of paradoxes.
Absolutely.
It says in a piece of literature, which I choose not to disclose, it says we are not a glum lot. And
that's right.
It's so it's so wise, and it's just such a, and we'll laugh at things that are just so horrid to other people, but it's, there's sometimes it is kind of comic, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
And, at the same time, as long as I can actually live through that. And I mean, during COVID, I had some dark days where I was thinking, I wonder if I should just go into oblivion. And but luckily I have wonderful supportive people. We help each other out, man. It's like the club, the no matter what club, no matter what happens, we can turn to each other and be loving to each other and support each other, no matter what outer circumstances are happening. Whether it's in the United States or worldwide, I keep thinking to myself, okay, no matter what's happened, I don't have control over it.
That's right. That's right. Deeds, thank you for being so vulnerable about it. I think with addiction that's one of the things that keeps us safe is to share, because I know for myself, if I keep that a secret, it's so much easier for me to think about going back down into that dark hole, where if I'm honest and new friends and acquaintances know that, I'm a recovering alcoholic drug addict, that's not even on the table anymore,
I get it. I totally get it, Pan. And I'm very, I have a choice to be able to get myself out of a funk anytime I choose to.
Yeah.
Anytime I choose to. And that's the beauty of it, because when I was in alcoholism and drugs and stuff, I was more or less hostage to it. It became a compulsion. And so now it isn't. So,
I that is the perfect way to say that, because I think when you're in the midst of addiction, you think you're making a choice, but you're not. It's that booze or it's that drug that's making those choices for you. Where when you get that out of your system and you get the support system and you learn and you get the skills and the tools that you don't need to live with those alcohol or drugs, that you are the one that's making the decision and not the the other way around. So I like your thinking on that, Deeds, that because
thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. When Donald David was so sick, he refused to take pain medication.
Oh,
he refused. They offered him a vial of morphine and they were going to inject, and he woke up. No. Don't want that. Bless his heart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so it's it's just amazing. Now, if I had a terminal illness, I know, since I knew that I was going to die anyway, I would not take opioids.
Right.
I would take, probably would, for pain relief, take cannabis of some sort. I think it would be less, but that's just me.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but and some people may not agree with me, but I just don't want to get into the opioids. I really don't.
Oh, it's so scary. It's so scary what it's doing to not just young people. It's all ages right now, and it has been going on for quite a while. And it just breaks my heart to hear these families that have lost loved ones because of it. And it's
well, do you remember that Rolling Stones song, "What a Drag It Is Getting Old"?
Yes.
And they talk about Mother's Little Helper and
Yes.
all of this kind of stuff. Even back in '66, they were singing about things like that. You know what I mean? It's such
I can't think of who's saying. What's the song about White Rabbit?
It's by Grace Slick.
That's right.
And it's by Jefferson Airplane. One pill makes you larger, and one pill makes you small.
Makes you smaller. The ones that mother
and the
gives
one
you,
that mother gives you don't do anything at all.
That's right. That's right.
But and I was even, and there have been people that have taken acid and everything, not for recreational purposes, but to be able to help with depression or whatever.
Yes.
It depends on what the substance is actually used for.
Absolutely.
Because, like the brain is such a remarkable thing. And luckily I don't suffer from horrific depression, so I do not find it necessary to go to that. But there were people like Cary Grant and others that and Bill W. too. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
But he was in a terrible depression, and he actually took that to help relieve his depression, and it did help him. But for the deeds, nah, I think not.
I just think when I was using, I spent so much of my life not feeling that. Now I want to feel everything, even though sometimes it's not good. It's not pleasant, but at least I'm feeling it. And, going back to that, then I can decide what I need to do to get through it. So,
well, I studied, I went to, who John Bradshaw was?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I loved his work, inner child work.
Yes.
And I think that a lot of times addiction, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, abuse of any kind is training ground for alcohol or drug abuse.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be, whether it's, sexual or physical or whatever, or emotional.
Right. Yeah.
You see?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, definitely. Absolutely. So one of the questions that a lot of our listeners they want to know about our guest is, especially somebody who's been very successful, is what's the accessible tool that you use the most in your day-to-day life?
My iPhone.
Your phone. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, my
Yeah.
iPhone. Yeah,
Okay.
for this phone call, for instance.
Oh, that's
Um,
true.
yeah, I don't, I love my computers. I have nicknames for them too.
And I know from our conversation yesterday, you use the smart speaker Alexa
I do.
quite a bit,
A
and
lot.
yeah,
Yes.
and you have a nickname for Alexa.
Yes, I do. I call her the A girl.
There you go.
If I
I
don't want
love.
to use the wake word,
Yeah.
because she'll wake up and boink at me, then I
Yes.
just say the A girl and she remains silent. So,
Oh. Well,
mhm.
Deeds, what would you like people to take away from today's conversation with you?
I'm a human being, not a human doing. Uh,
Mm,
that was John Bradshaw's one of his favorite
yeah, I do.
sayings. I still am a human doing to a certain extent because of my work, but I hope that people take away from this experience um, that I am vulnerable, that I am. I want to strive to learn new things. That what is that expression? I'm a human being having a spiritual experience, or is it the other way around?
Mm,
The spiritual. Well, you know what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, and um, I'm just so grateful, more than anything, Pen, to have made a new friend,
Oh,
and
that's
that's
so
you,
sweet.
girlfriend.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Thank you so much.
And
Um,
I don't say that lightly, dear. I really
oh,
mean that. And so,
yeah,
yeah, and so I'm just glad to be alive. It's good. It's just good to be here on this
yeah,
planet, being able to do the work that I love to do. That's the deal.
yeah, absolutely. So we are Audio Information Network of Colorado. Is doing a fundraising event for AINC because, as everybody knows, we're a nonprofit and our
Right.
services are absolutely free and have been for over 3 decades. But
Wow.
Rocky Mountain PBS has given us the broadcast signal so that we can have been functioning for all these decades. And I
Oh,
yeah, and I approached them with the idea, and it was because of a couple of guests I had on over a year ago. Um, they're two young ladies that live in Denver that are musicians and singers, and we talked about how do they what has become with music. It seems like music has, for some reason, shifted from being an audio, something you experience audibly, versus now it seems like everything's visual. And when you go to concerts, it's all the electronics and I mean, I don't even know what there is, but I guess when you go to a concert, it's so visual versus
yeah.
having people there actually listening to the artist and the musicians and feeling it. And I said, oh my goodness, we should do a concert where people are forced to maybe forced is too big of a word, but that they can experience the music without having the interruption of using their eyes. And so these two young ladies, they said, yeah, let's make it happen. So I have been trying to get it off the ground. And um, recently I was doing another project with Rocky Mountain PBS, and I kind of threw the idea out there and they loved it. And I even met with them yesterday afternoon, and Deeds is interested in being part of this project. So
Mm-hmm.
we will definitely be talking about it more. coming up on the show when we get the date set. It will be in Denver at the Rocky Mountain PBS station in their new building. They have a beautiful, beautiful event center. And yeah, because I don't know if you've experienced that with your music deeds, but I'm going to a concert this week, actually, Coulter Wall. Some friends are taking me, and I'm actually concerned a little bit about, am I going to miss most of the concert because is it going to be visual? And I mean, you know me, I'm going to sit there, stand there, dance there in place and enjoy it. But how much of it am I missing because I can't see?
Are you talking about the choreography or the lights, or?
I think all of it, you know, like even what they wear, you know, I always figured they probably dressed up like with you. I'm sure your makeup and your hair and your beautiful costumes that you wear on stage. But that doesn't enter my head when I go to a concert. What comes into my head is listening to the music, feeling the energy, hearing the stories that the artist tells. It never occurred to me, you know, you don't know what you're missing until you know what you're missing. Well, I didn't know that concerts were all about visual. But then when I started talking to my sighted friends, the things they talked about were like what you said, the light show, the choreography, the dancers. And I'm like, but that doesn't have anything to do with the music. They're like, well, yeah, it does. And I was like, oh my goodness, have I been missing out all these years that I didn't know? So we want to create a space for people to come, and we will hand out blindfolds, you know, like, you know, kind of like the sleep masks that people wear. And it's not going to be mandatory, but we are going to ask people and urge people, you know, put those on during the performance so that you can experience it through your ears and the feeling of what's going on, and it'll force you to listen more than if you're visual.
Well, you know, in the format of music that I do, Pan, there isn't all that choreography. There's basically either a big band or there's, you know, a trio or quartet. And we don't, you know, yes, we have a light that, you know, that may go on or off or whatever, with a light person, but we don't have dancers or whatever. I'm sitting at the piano most of the time. Sometimes there may be a piano player and I'm sitting center stage, but it's pretty simple compared to some of these acts. And so I don't mean simple in an icky way. I just mean there's not all that other stuff. And it's just really cool. And some of the, you know, the bass player a lot of the show will be acoustic instead of electric, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so it's, and there's a lot of musicians that actually, well, you know, the late Jeff Beck, for instance, I took time to listen to some of his work. You know, and it's now looking at it in retrospect, I had a wonderful time experiencing the different tunes that he did and everything. So, but I think it's a remarkable idea, to see how far that goes. I've been on PBS many times. You were talking about Elmo.
Yes.
There with Elmo, and I've been to the White House. I did a performance at the White House and a couple of times, and all of that kind of stuff. And that was on PBS, so I'm very, very familiar. The first concert that I did was in '82 with an all-star jazz concert, and you can find it on YouTube. We jammed on Summertime. That was at the end, and then Nancy Reagan came trotting up and put her arms around me, and I I said, who is this? And she goes, Nancy Reagan. And I whisper back, oh, that Nancy. And and everything. So, just a lot of wonderful experiences. And I think that would be wonderful, PBS to be able to somehow, if we can get this off the ground, let's see if we can make it happen.
Yeah. Let's do it, Deeds. Let's do it. And I did want to share for everybody, go to Deeds' website and you can find out more, about not just this latest album that came out, but all the other ones that are on there. And then also, where you're playing. You have a tour coming up in February, and then you mentioned the Boston experience. I think that's
May. Yeah, that's May 20th. And
absolutely. And that website is, you go to DianeSchuur.com, and that's DianeSchuur.com, and we'll make sure that that's in the podcast notes so that it's easy to find with your screen readers or your eyeballs. You can use your eyeballs if you have to find it. So, well, Deeds, this has been such a treat, and I love that this amazing friendship has begun with us, and I can't wait to see what comes of everything. There's so many exciting things with you, and I was looking at your tour, and I was like, I wish there was something closer to me.
Things happen all the time, and be in Denver or thereabouts one of these days. We just don't know when yet. That's all.
That's right. We absolutely don't know what's around the next corner. That's for sure.
Well, isn't that kind of the beauty of life, Pen?
Oh, it is. Thank you, Deeds. This has just been such a gift. I also want to, thank everybody at Audio Information Network of Colorado. They do the hard work behind the scenes, and I get to do the fun part and get to talk to, just amazing people just like Deeds. And also, check out our other podcasts, Blindsight, and then Topic of the Month, and you can find them wherever you find Aftersight. And, remember that you can donate to Audio Information Network of Colorado. Your donations keep our doors open and our programs flowing. And that's at aincolorado.org. And it is completely tax deductible because we are a nonprofit. And remember to be kind to yourselves this week and find a way to be kind to somebody else. It's good for your soul. And we will see you next week.